Putting Batman and Superman in a film together means the potential is there for us to see one of the greatest comic book movies ever put to screen. However, whilst their relationship has worked well in comics and in various animated forms, creating a good live-action adaptation is a whole different story. That's the difference between your live-action Popeye and your live-action Dragon Ball Z. Wait a minute. Both of those are terrible! Let's just... You know what, I'm just gonna list some things that I think would make a good Batman-Superman film. One of the best things about the 1989 Batman, aside from Bruce Wayne's turtleneck and perm, was that Batman himself showed up fully developed and highly capable. We don't really know how long he's been working, as most people assume he's a myth. Could have been a few months, could have been a few years. We don't know. Beyond being able to turn his neck, this guy is ready for anything. He even has a device specifically built to hit someone in the balls. You cannot get more prepared than that. We don't need to see Batman's first day at work again like we saw with Superman in Man of Steel. Batman needs to be at the absolute top of his game if he's gonna match Superman both physically and mentally. And like the 1989 Batman, it would be ideal if he'd been working in complete ninja secret for a while. I don't want the first thing Batman to ever do is accidentally catch his cape in a car door and then be dragged up the street. Also, could we get a more comic book style suit? You know, something in the vein of this Arkham City replica would be amazing. Most of the time when Batman and Superman are at odds with each other in the comics, it's for a good reason. They usually know each other very well, and despite the distance he keeps from people, Bruce Wayne considers Clark one of his closest friends. I'm thinking they won't know each other very well at the beginning of this film, so it needs to be established that they're at odds for a solid reason, and not some minor miscommunication. Take the whole movie to build towards a final showdown. Not battle at the start or halfway through the film, then team up to do something. Because whatever that something is, it's not going to be as interesting as them punching each other in the face. And the reason for them fighting needs to go beyond, we're not friends! It would be nice to see a good reason for their disagreement where you can understand where both sides are coming from. Similar to what happened in Civil War. Despite Batman often getting the better of Superman in comics, many people take issue with the two being able to go toe-to-toe without Batman ending up as a block of ice hurtling towards the sun. Whomever you'd think would win between these two, this quote indicates that Batman is going to give Superman an absolute beating. This has to play out incredibly carefully for it to make sense in the realistic world created by Man of Steel. You can't just stand Batman on one side in a cumbersome armored suit and have him and Superman just punch the hell out of each other. Superman wouldn't even need to get in close to stop Batman. Freeze breath, heat vision, pitching a car at him. There are a number of ways he could win, both lethally and hopefully non-lethally. You need to ensure that Batman has a foolproof plan, one neither the audience nor Superman could see coming. And make sure the film emphasizes that Superman is not at 100% strength or reluctant to go all out on Batman. And the answer to all this should be smarter than a friggin' kryptonite ring. Make it smart, make it bulletproof logic-wise, and make it awesome. The Batman-Superman film is not a direct adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns. That would be a weird and crap route to take on their first live-action film together. However, it will be drawing inspiration from the iconic story. We know this due to this famous quote used at Comic-Con, the Batman logo being similar, and Snyder himself saying, it's the thing that will help us tell the story. If they're taking this direction, that's fine. I mean, it's kind of weird because so much was already used in The Dark Knight Rises, but whatever. This is the thing that's apparently happening. But there are a number of elements previously untouched from The Dark Knight Returns which should absolutely be avoided. The futuristic 80s look is obviously out of the question, as is a 55-year-old Batman. The Batman that shows up shouldn't resemble present-day Adam West. Or should he? Wait, no, he shouldn't. It also shouldn't adopt the depressing tone of the book. Now, I love this book, but god damn it, is it grim. Alfred dies, the Joker breaks his own neck after receiving a batarang right in the eye, there's a woman with Nazi symbols over her nipples. Lose all of that. The only thing that should be taken from this story is the conflict between Batman and Superman, both believing they're right in their convictions, but at odds with their core beliefs. There are other comics to draw from in the DC universe other than The Dark Knight Returns and Batman Year One. We've seen a lot of this already. Do something new. Okay, let's go to the next thing. A major criticism, and I'll say fair criticism, of Man of Steel was that it was a mostly joyless adventure. Serious things were no doubt at stake, but beyond Superman initially realizing he could fly, it was a solemn, neck-breaking affair all round. You can have serious things at stake and still have elements of humor and levity in a movie. My point is, if you're standing a man in blue tights and a cape next to a man in full bat getup, no audience member is going to fault a somewhat lighter tone. Not that light. Perfect. There's a couple of things I'd like to make brief mention of before I wrap this up. Now, I stated before this was announced in a previous video that I thought a Batman-Superman film would be a good idea before doing a Justice League. I stand by that. However, I was under the impression that we'd be getting more Superman solo stuff before we get this team up. We've only really seen one day of Superman being Superman, and now suddenly Batman's just gonna be there? I feel like they may be bringing Batman in a little too early to bolster the sequel due to Man of Steel not making the same kind of money as the last two Batmans did. Another thing that I'm worried about is that this whole thing is just a knee-jerk reaction to give fans what they want. In the same way that Man of Steel went well out of its way to ensure that Superman punched as many people as he could to differentiate it from Superman Returns. But hey, these are minor concerns. I'm probably wrong, and all this will turn out great. Probably. That about does it. I gotta say though, it's pretty exciting times that we're finally getting a Batman-Superman film. What are your thoughts though? What do you think should be included in a Batman-Superman big screen adaptation? Do you think maybe, I don't know, there should be additional villains? Or is the two of them enough? What should their disagreement be over? Who do you want to see win out of them both? Feel free to leave your thoughts below or via my Twitter and Facebook pages, both ending in Mr. Sunday Movies. Cheers everyone, thanks for watching.